Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more videos here. Getting some more D-Class cars, and we're moving on to Prague. So this is another what I would call a momentum track. So the cars that we built for the Alps, at least the longer Alps, not so much Alps Club, although it would probably work fine here too. So the Alps cars will work here, and I want to build this Kia for Prague, and this Kia will also work on the Alps. So those cars are kind of interchangeable to some degree, although this was built specifically for the Alps. So we're going to do this live here, run a couple of laps. The Ghost here just happened to be the next one right in front of the next guy on my friends list, right in front of my own, which was about 293rd. It's actually, it happens to be Raceboy 77. So we'll see here in a second. He's driving the GTO, maybe. That thing is so fast, and not really the car you would normally use on this track, but he is an I just blew that turn. He's an exceptional driver. We're already going to be way out on this lap. Oh, we'll get on the next one. Going here. I don't know if I can run this in 6th gear up through here. Find out. I hadn't tried it here before. Yeah, I lost a lot of speed. We'll just get a clean lap in here and make a run at it here on the next one. But anyway, yeah, so 293rd. It was, I had a Mazda Miata that was already up there. It was an old top 100 time that I did a long time ago that's kind of since slipped out of there. Still got a touch of understeer in this. Obviously, you can catch him in the turns. But he just walks away in the... Finish this last part up here solid. It's not going to be enough to catch him. Like a full second behind my last lap. And this is my 3rd lap. Just wanted to get the tires fully warmed up before we gave it a complete. Pretty clean through there. I kept it pretty slow through that though. Really didn't come out of that quite as fast as I wanted to start my next lap either, but it's clean. It's up there. I mean, it's a top 500 time, just not going to be a quite what we're looking for here. A little better there. A little better coming out of that turn. That's where I need to not shift here into 6th. Keep that. You want to keep these RPMs high up here. Get a good turn in there. You want to stay up around 100 miles an hour. You're going to drop down a little below, but it's okay. Just barely come off of that and then right back on. I wanted to keep it above 85 there. I think I got down to about 83, so. That's where we can really start to, you can see coming through here, carry good speed through here. It's a little over. I think I could tune a little more of this understeer out of here. It's gonna be close. Woo! I wanted to get on the gas a little sooner, but I was just a little quick into that turn. Don't want to hit that wall. Just had to let off just a second there. Didn't really want to have to do that, but now the old critical city. Anybody's lap this track at all, you know what I'm talking about. Carried much quicker through at that time. a little faster through there. It's a pretty good lap, actually. Oh yeah, we got him that time. So yeah, we're gonna get a decent time in here at least. 2:12.5. It's not bad. I can run a faster lap than that, but we're gonna stop it in there. I was down when I was in practice into the 2:11, so yeah, you know, 2:12.5 is okay. So we will let's hit the resume here, and let's go take a look at our build and tune. And I may, oh look out! Oh, I hit resume instead of finish. Nice. No, not help. Yeah, I need help. It's actually relatively late at night. I just finished playing some Destiny raid night with some friends. So want to get a quick video in here. Make sure I got this done before I head off to bed. So a little out of sorts, but yeah, I can make this car a little better. And we're gonna look at it and actually probably make a couple of adjustments in here. Just a little bit of understeer I didn't like, and the gearing is just off. I'm topping out and losing a couple of miles an hour in a couple of spots, and what I'm going to do is just drop that final drive ratio by 0.1 probably, and I think that'll have the gears dialed in just a little bit better. So it's just off. It was close, but going up the hill, I just started to top it out going into that hill, and I lost a mile an hour or two, but overall not bad. I could push it more, and where I could really gain time is in that city spot, and just keep working that until I didn't have to let off at all. I see, it would have been nice if at least get ahead of Rock King on that, but but not bad for 3 laps. I just ran 3 laps, so that's okay. 170 something. So let's continue here. Let's go take a look at that tune and build. Anyway, this will work on any of the prog tracks, pretty much all 3 of them. I may do another build for the short prog track, but this will work just fine there. Work on the reverses now. I didn't do the reverse tracks on Prague or on the Alps. The same cars will work, but technically you would want to do a little different because it's the hill climbs are different on that. The hills you're going down, you're going up, and vice versa. But if you're taking them out there in multiplayer and things like that, man, these cars will work just fine. All right, let's get out of here. And let's get over into our tune. So, all right, first off, let's start where we always start in the engine conversion. I don't have any engine swap. I do not have a drivetrain swap. I have made one of these rear-wheel drive before, and you see you can get a few PI back, and you can do some different things, but ultimately it still ends up better being front-wheel drive. And then pretty much as every D-Class car we build, we've got the centrifugal supercharger on here. Back out of here, and we'll get to our arrow, and we're going to have both the race front and race rear arrow, and that's the only thing we can do on that. By the way, I think that's a pretty sweet paint job. I really should pay more attention to who is doing these so that I can at least give the right people credit, but whoever made that, I really like that one. It looks sharp on this car. And over here, tires and rims. Get into our tire compound. We're gonna have full race, so this car starts pretty low in D-Class, so you're able to get the full race tires on there, which gives you the grip in those high speed turns, and you can see that as you've gone through there, it really carried good speed through the turns. So we are full race tires, and we are going to be full width with 255s on the front, and I believe 255s. Yep, 255s on the rear. And our wheels that we have here, that's these right here, the Momo 10S. You could pick, well, look at that. Now, so if I pick the one right next to it, I actually get 4 pounds. You should always kind of go through and sight that up, but I didn't come back to the wheels. I get kind of lazy sometimes when I get it at 400, and then I just go build it. But technically, you should probably come back here and look to see if you can do something lighter. So we're going to go put those lighter wheels on here while we're sitting in here. So I take it back. We're using a Kasai RT Sports. So get those all sided up, and we're gonna have the largest rims we can have, 20-inch on the front and on the rear, so full width there. And we have nothing here. We are going to have and we get the magic PI drop again, and you get the adjustable transmission, which you really want. I actually ran this at first with the stock transmission, and it's pretty much the same transmission, just not adjustable. But you get it's the extra 2 PI thing, so I don't get it. And it wasn't geared well enough. It just didn't have enough horsepower to pull. The gears were way too long. So definitely want that sport transmission. I believe we have one up on the driveline. Yep. Can't go any more than that. I have the street driveline. That's just a weight play. And then our adjustable race differential. Hop on over here, and we're going to have race brakes, race springs and dampers, race front, race rear, no roll cage at all, and full weight reduction. So everything we can do in there pretty much, except no roll cage there. Roll cage will help with stability in some cars, but when you're in D class, it's just I don't know that there's any car that really benefits from it. As you get up in the upper classes, there's some cars that it really helps with the stability on it. We'll see some of that as we go through and get moving up the classes. So take a look at our engine. I believe I have 3 things on here. So we've got race exhaust, and we'll have the race centrifugal supercharger. Those are pretty typical. So I start with the supercharger, then I go to the exhaust, and I was kind of on a weird PI. I couldn't get the PI right. Like I did that, and then I was at like, and I had an air filter. You'll see in there one, and I'm at like 399, and so I played around, and I actually ended up using the intercooler. This isn't something I'll normally use, and I'll show you why. So I was here, and it matched up well, but if we look here, we're looking at 2,328 pounds. This actually takes us up, so it's 80 pounds, which, you know, that's generally pretty significant, but it actually works out pretty well in this case. This doesn't always work, but it made my PI fit. It did give me 12 horsepower, up to 185, and it was faster than the, so I had another version that was 173, I think. Or maybe it's 175 or 170, whatever it was. But it was less than this, and it just was, I could tell it was a little bit slower. So one of the rare times I'll use the intercooler, but it did happen to work in this case. So that's all of our engine parts. Let's go through our numbers. 4754 626258, 185 horsepower, 155 foot-pounds of torque, coming in just over 2,400 pounds. So it's kind of a heavy car. But that's okay on these momentum-based tracks like Alps and like Prague. Excuse me. The weight's not it's not terrible. I mean, you don't want to be super heavy because it can really impact you on the hill. But again, not terrible. So that's our numbers there. Let's hop in and take a look at the tune. Did I make a change? Oh, yeah, that's right. I changed the wheels. 28 and 28 on that. Pretty standard. I just kind of set it and forget it type of deal. So I have 510 on this one. This is where I think I'm going to, there's 2 ways you could go with this. So you could go way to the right, you know, but I don't want more gear shifts really. I did get into 6 gear a couple times on that. I'm going to just come down to 5.0. I think that'll be all right. It does change our, 0 to 60 just slightly, but I think it's going to put us in a much better gearing place. Right before the hill I was topping out, and I want to be able to use 5th gear a little bit more effectively throughout. I didn't really look at the horsepower curve, but I think it's a normal, pretty linear one. So come over here. We got -3.5 and -3.2, 1 and 1, and then so you could experiment taking toe out, which it could help with your straight line speed a little bit. But this has really pretty good turn in, so we're gonna leave that in there. Our roll bars are at 6 and 26. This is where I would consider coming in here because it had still had just a touch of understeer. Like all front wheel drive cars, and they drive me crazy. I would go 1, and I would bump this up to about, about 29. And I'm just going to set it at this just to get that last little bit of understeer out of there. You got to be careful in a track like Prague though, and you don't want to end up with oversteer. You want to keep the car really stable. Because you are going through high-speed turns, but I think this will work okay. So my advice is change it to this. I believe this will be able to squeeze in, another half a second out just on that understeer, maybe even a little more. So springs out there. This is another place I think I want to soften the front up just a touch. So we'll take just a little bit more out of there. So we'll end up at 475 and 546, and I know I'm not going out and driving this, but I'm positive this will work, and it'll work a little bit better than what we had. I do have the height up just a little bit, and I did that for going through the city area when you got to come up over those curbs. You could consider even coming up a couple more inches, but this wasn't too bad. I did get a little bit of bounce in there, but really that's to be able to get over the city area and get over those 2 humps you got to drive over. And here I ended up at 9.0, 10.5, 1.0, 1.7, so oversteer tuned here just to get that front wheel drive to turn. I do not have any downforce. I did have 100 in here, and you could experiment with this. This is also the reason. So what I did is I came in here and I took this out and I did some roll bar tuning, and I went and I didn't go into test drive. I just went and ran rivals, and it felt pretty good. But this is a possibility here. Now, the only issue with this is it's going to cut down your straight line speed, and there's a couple spots where I think I want that speed, so I'm going to leave this out of here. But if you're still seeing a little bit of understeering here, go ahead and test it out with that downforce on full all the way up there, because you might actually like it better. And then I ended up at 48 and 135. Brakes aren't a huge deal on this, and you're not using the brakes a whole lot on the Prague track, so but that did feel good. And finally the differential, 70 and 10. So I think that's where I started at and didn't make any changes. So all right, another D-class car down. We're going to end it with that. Got just a few more, probably a couple, 2 or 3 more builds here, and then we're out. We're on up to C-class. So we're getting close, getting through here, and we're going to start motoring up through the other classes. So we're going to end it with that. And as always, by the way, I do put all these up on the I don't want to call it storefront, but available for download. So if you guys don't want to have to go through all the numbers, you can just download and apply the tune on there. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.